Dubai Eye1038.
It is the agenda. Georgia here standing in for Tom over the next 2 weeks. And with many of us already planning to spend more time at home, maybe it's the perfect opportunity to upskill. And even if you can't go to university in person, there are hundreds of online courses that you can take in everything from baking to public health. And the higher colleges of technology reckon they've got it right when it comes to implementing e-learning in universities. They piloted a smart learning program that resulted in a 91.5% satisfaction rate among students and a 71% high satisfaction rate amongst faculty staff. So earlier this month, HCT students at 16 campuses undertook their courses remotely. That was in collaboration with the Higher Colleges of Technology and its partners from Etisalat, Zoom and Blackboard. They called it Uber-like education. To tell us more, joining me on the line is Dr. Abdulatif Al-Shamsi. He's the President and CEO of Higher Colleges of Technology. Dr. Abdulatif, great to have you on the line.
Thank you, Georgia, for hosting me, and thanks to Dubai Eye for this opportunity.
Fantastic to have you. Why do you call it an Uber-like education? I mean, I get the gist because it's online, but what's the sort of extra twist?
Well, I wouldn't say there is an extra twist in it, but the Uber-like education, we've been calling it for the past 2 years. Uber-like education is a futuristic setting of HCT. And it is the idea of it is that we work on including our curriculum to be more personalized for our students, building micro-credentials and digital credentials for our students, and it has to be stackable, and providing more and more of campuses without physical border. Now, this, for us today, what is happening in the world and the globe related to the coronavirus and everybody going online, it's a great opportunity to accelerate what we've been advocating for the past 2 years. So in a nutshell, it's a micro offering of selected courses for our students, and it is to be supported by our faculty anywhere, anytime. So we can source students from anywhere and the faculty from anywhere. It's like an Uber approach. And this is what will make it more of a different and unique. And this is where the whole world is moving toward.
I suppose it just makes everything like education a lot more accessible, just like public transport's become a lot more accessible thanks to these types of apps.
It has to be. Now, as we've seen the technology impacting all different sectors, business sectors around us, it's impacting education as well. But education to be more accessible, especially we are in need to upskill continuously. We live in an accelerated technology developing world. And even if you have a PhD, you still need to upskill, you need to augment your skills because of the technology imposed on us. And to make it accessible for our students, for the mid-careers, for everyone to cope with those changes, it's becoming more and more needed.
So how does it work exactly? So say I sat down in front of my computer, what would I need to do?
Well, like we said, everyone in the world now needs an upskilling. Everybody needs in the globe. We need to take advantage of the new skills that's been introduced. And that's why the micro courses, which is part of micro-credentials, to upskill themselves is needed. Now, to access it through a platform from anywhere, anytime, and this platform is monitored or offered by a qualified faculty from different parts of the world, this is what makes it, this option is possible and is available. Now, how we are delivering it? We are delivering it through many different means. We're using Blackboard Ultra, which is it's an international recognized company for offering an online interactive material, and it's kind of the contents, developing the contents of our faculty make it easier to use that kind of a platform. So it's now with the video conferencing as a part of an option, it's also available. We have to be careful a bit when it comes to the online, because many people think it's having a Wi-Fi, having a laptop, a video conferencing will make it online. It's not about that only. It's more about the interactivity, the engagement, and we found it's more crucial about the pedagogical approach of our faculty. So it's to train faculty to become more, how can they utilize the technology in a more interactive, exciting, and engaging for students, for anybody who wants to enroll in this training. That's crucial.
So you're not just loading up the information online and people are just reading it. It's a totally interactive process.
And that's why we are moving, rather than just offering some training sessions or courses online, we are moving toward more of a DigiCampus. And a DigiCampus is to kind of provide all the other services in a normal campus setting for students is to be available online. So there are many other extracurricular activities, for example, e-advising, tutorial sessions, clubs, students' clubs that are available online. Even entertainment, like students can go through some of the tournament games on a video games, that's also available. So when students log in, it's not just attending that lecture online and logging out. It's engaging with his or her peers online, gaining some of the other skills as well through other trainings or other sessions or other activities that they would normally do in a campus. They still can deliver it through kind of a DigiCampus approach.
So how many hours do you recommend that students spend on their online learning a day?
Well, Uber-like education model is not bound by time. In principle, it could be offered 24/7, 365 days a year. It's a matter of selection by the interested students. They select the suitable time. However, there are some, of course, scheduled time where faculty are available online in a real-time format, and some of the activities it has to be engaged through scheduling time, but the activity overall should be available, and it is recorded where students can still access it later on.
Feeling contentious? Want to add some context? Have your say and join the conversation on The Agenda.
On Dubai Eye1038.
Hello. You are listening to The Agenda. Georgia here in for Tom. And with so many of us planning to spend more time at home, maybe it's time you upskill. What do you think about online courses? Are you planning to do one? I was chatting to Danny Norton, actually, about whether or not there might be a return to sort of old school skills. You know, whether we all might start doing knitting or crocheting or, I don't know, like crafting, because we'll all be at home so much.
Funny you should say that. My husband is thinking about doing some woodwork.
Woodwork!
I bet you he'll never get around to doing it, but he just kind of said it because he thought people would think the same thing, would have more time for that.
Time to make jam. Although fruit's quite expensive here.
Pickling everything.
Yes, chutney. It's time for some chutney. Dr. Abdulatif Al-Shamsi, who's President and CEO of the Higher Colleges of Technology, is still on the line and now thinks me and Zina are mad. Hi, Dr. Abdulatif. How are you doing? You still there?
Yes, I'm still there.
Are you going to make any jam over the next few months? Probably not. So the reason why we have Dr. Abdulatif on the line, if you hadn't been listening a few minutes ago, is because he works for the Higher Colleges of Technology, and they've definitely been getting it right when it comes to implementing e-learning at universities. Obviously, e-learning is going to be a much bigger thing, not least when the children virtually go back to school on Sunday. I have a certain amount of trepidation connected to it. But what would you say, Dr. Latif, to parents a bit like me who think that online learning sort of can't motivate students?
Well, it's totally the opposite. We find from our pilot phase that we implemented a week ago, it's that we get students very excited about learning. In fact, we find them highly committed, very engaging. Attendance exceeded 95%. Especially in the morning sessions, which is usually students struggle to go to class.
Oh, especially for teenagers. I suppose they could still be in their pajamas, right? They didn't need to get dressed. They could just stagger out of bed and sit in front of the computer.
So it is very exciting. It's very engaging. It's more fun for them. And that's what education should be all about. It should not, the way we conduct our education system is still boring for the Z generation. And I think this is where the opportunity comes for our students to benefit more from this online delivery. But I strongly believe education will not go back the way it was a month ago.
Wow.
Trust me. Why? Because our faculty are getting more and more in the comfort zone of delivering online education system. They are more relaxed about engaging our students through the online activities. They are about using those tools. In HCD, just last week, we have conducted a very thorough PD for all of our faculty. It was more than 270 sessions were conducted. More than 14,000 PD certified hours last week. It was all online. And the level of engagement from our faculty was also interesting. So a month later, when things goes back to the way it was, you will not see the same education that we had before.
It's so interesting that both students and faculty staff, so teachers effectively, are enjoying this new structure. What do you actually have to own in terms of software and hardware in order to take part in this online learning? Do you have to have a very sophisticated laptop, for example, or is it quite simple?
Well, it all depends on the platform. Definitely, there is an ecosystem that needs to be built around an online system. You must have a robust infrastructure from a network, server, security system, and so on. You need to have definitely an intelligent learning system. In our case, in HCT, we use a Blackboard Ultra, Collaborate Ultra, and Zoom for the video conferencing tool. Digital content is also critical about it, to develop the right digital contents, and it has to be customized. So it's not whatever available online. It has to be customized toward the curriculum related to students. But I think, again, more crucial is about extensive training from pedagogical point of view, utilization of technology for our teachers and for our faculty. And this is where things make a difference for our students, make a difference for our faculty. So you need to have an ecosystem of all those areas, all those tools that need to be available for our faculty. But also, on the other hand, students need to be receptive to those. Mm-hmm. And our students are indeed more receptive. Again, the Z generation, technology is part of the day-to-day life. They are more comfortable in using it, and they find it's more exciting. So once you put all these elements together, you get into a different level of education that is really making an impact on the learning outcomes, making an impact on the excitement of the students, and it's not just another boring thing like what we typically have in our normal education system.
Amazing. It's going to make such a difference to distance learning and things like that. Dr. Abdulatif Al-Shamsi, thank you so much for joining us on the line. President and CEO of the Higher Colleges of Technology here in the UAE. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, George.
This is Dubai Eye 103.8.